We've got so much information overload at the moment. Actually, it's no longer acceptable just to have great evidence to communicate to businesses to get them to do things differently. It's really about thinking about how do you have impact and influence through cutting through all of that noise and really, really landing a story with the evidence to support that. There's two elements to what we do with our Unlock the Story programme. The first one is really about building capabilities, getting people comfortable with identifying messages, thinking about how they problem solve, how they use creative techniques. But there's another element to this, and it's really about thinking about how you optimise the new ways of working when you go back to your job, and how do I embed some of these processes into business as usual working ways. Everybody who's here today and on the course that we ran 10 days ago are all from different walks of life. So some of them work for agencies, some of them work for client-side organisations. And really we designed this to get them inspired and engaged with the whole idea of changing their ways of working and give them some tools and techniques. But everything we do for clients, if we're doing in-house work, is bespoke to their particular area.
I find that with doing lots of big multinational projects, I get bogged down quite heavily in the detail. So coming on this course has been really helpful because it's allowed me to find sort of almost mechanics or sort of constraints or structures that allow me to sort of think about things before I even start going into the project, to then help me sort of break down the analysis in a more sort of logical or more sort of streamlined way.
I came to the first session, it was very much I want to be able to go out of here and have 5 things that I can do, or 10 things, or 3 things that I can say, okay, next presentation, I'm going to use those, I'm going to do those things. Within a week, there's 2 projects I'm working on, which at least 3 or 4 other things I'm specifically using already.
It's great because it's over 2 days, so you do the initial day where you're looking at how to build that story, and then you go back and you put that into context, and you go through the whole process of completing a presentation and what that looks like. And actually going through the process and working on it in a group really helps you put everything into practice.
It's quite challenging in a good way. Try and break things, try and do things a little bit differently. Try and stay ahead of the curve, moving away from a findings-based story and more towards a story that has impact and spurs conversation.
It's definitely a course which will challenge your ways of working. It's really great in terms of helping you to find some structures and some ways to think differently about making your stories come to life for your audience particularly, but also to help you find a more enjoyable way to tell your story.
It's relaxed, useful, really good for getting those nuggets that you can take away and go, I'm going to do that next time I work on a project.
It really kind of shakes up your thinking in terms of what a research presentation should entail, what it should look like, and it really moves you away from your current thinking and helps you to tell the story in a much clearer way.
We are absolutely storytelling animals, so this is natural and intuitive for us. The key thing is really about not telling the story for the sake of the story, but the real impact that it can have if you're able to land that message right in the first place.